let's get to the main topic of the show, and that is to stand or not to stand. Colin Kaepernick not standing for the anthem. That's all anybody can talk about. Everyone's been weighing in, from Jerry Rice to Ronnie Harrison to just all the sports outlets.
Everybody. Ronnie Harrison sounded very ignorant.
Yeah, Ronnie Harrison sounded like an idiot. Let's tell it what it is. He sounded like an idiot.
He just stupid. I mean, it was similar to what they were saying about what this guy Ben Carson said about Obama. It was very akin to that.
Yeah.
When he would say that he's not black, he didn't grow up in the inner city, and
it's probably some of the most stupid.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like mixed race, because obviously Colin Kaepernick is not fully black.
Yeah,
you see him with his hair all out. Like, you can tell that's not 100% black hair.
Yeah,
but like but that's
he's still a marginalized.
Yeah, that's all hair we wish
we
had. That's all hair we wish we had. We wish we could have a big hair. But like,
like the whole thing is like, the reason I think we should say this: Colin Kaepernick did not stand up for the national anthem, and the reason why he didn't stand up for the national anthem was because he feels like he's a marginalized member of society.
Yes,
it's about who is marginalized and who isn't, and it typically is black person.
But for first, what I wanted to speak in before we get into the main issue with, like, what I wanted to speak with Rodney Harrison, is that this whole issue, I mean, mixed race people being seen as not black, just to like get that out of the way. Like, they are black. Yes, you may have a black father, a white mother, or vice versa. You are still black. You are still an African American. You are still, as far as America, and as we know historically, America had a one-drop rule, that if you have 1 ounce of black in your bloodline or your history, you're black. It doesn't matter what you look like visually or aesthetically, you are black, and that is just the facts. And yes, and all these stories are coming out. People are, I mean, I was already aware of this, but people are becoming more increasingly aware of the fact that he was abandoned by his black father and given up for adoption by his white mother, Colin Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. And so this guy, Jason Whitlock, on Speak for Yourself, was talking about how he could be publicly having this identity crisis issue before our eyes, and it's playing out. So he's trying to maybe embrace his blackness as a sense of comfort, or some sort of comfort for him to get something he felt he never had throughout his life. But no, he is black. Whether you grew up in an all-white household, I mean, the same Jimmy Butler, so a lot of people don't know this, he grew up for a lot of his youth in an all-white household, and and it worked for him. We see what became of him. He's an NBA All-Star, $95 million contract. But anyway, he's black. He's still subject to many of the same things we go through. And it's funny, Rodney Harrison, if you look at him, he's actually lighter than Colin Kaepernick.
Nah, that's a tough argument.
Well, he's close. He's close.
He's close, but it's a tough argument.
He has the more black, I guess you could say he looks more, but he's close. They're pretty close in complexion.
They're close, but that's a tough argument. That's a very tough argument. Because they're both, like, the whole thing is, the tough argument is that Rodney Harrison is maybe just a shade darker. Like,
okay, yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You don't know, you really don't know. But like, the whole thing is, for me, is that whether or not Colin Kaepernick is black or not is...
Well, he is.
Yeah, he is. It's stupid to say, oh, he's not black, so the fact that he's standing on is that really the basis of your argument? The fact that he's not black that means that you can't feel marginalized by society?
He's an utter fool for that statement.
Yeah, like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
He is.
When it comes to the whole race thing. Like, anyone who says that argument, oh, well, he's light-skinned, so that's... Exactly. You should
mixed
go to
race people are black. Yeah, mixed race people are black. Yes, at times, maybe if it's them, I know there's been historical kind of like, oh, if there's a mixed person and a black person applying for the job, you might give it to the mixed person. Like, if Stephen Curry and Ben Wallace are applying for a job.
I don't even care about that.
No, but
Rodney Harrison's an idiot.
No, I'm just saying what, like, a lot of people have brought argument.
Yeah.
And like, because this has happened.
Yeah.
Where people have been put against each other, but I don't care about it either. He's black.
Yeah, he's black.
So, but yeah, to get to the issue, I mean, for me, it's like a lot of people bring in this whole dynamic, of if you don't stand for the anthem, you're disrespecting the military. But what people don't realize is that the military, they didn't fight for you so that you would stand up for the anthem to honor them. They fought for you so that you could have the right to sit down and oppose injustice. They fought for you to have the freedom to do what you're doing. They fought for you to have the freedom, that ability to choose and to do things within your constitutional rights.
Okay,
that's what they fought for.
Yeah, and so let me ask you this question. A couple months ago, we lambasted a Canadian
Or
for
last month.
Last month, right? We lambasted a Canadian. We went on the show and we gave this guy a verbal beatdown. Any worse, and we would have asked him for money later for changing the words to the national anthem for a political purpose. This purpose, now, we're gonna, let's be real, this purpose doesn't agree to us because we're both black. Now that it's Colin Kaepernick and he's standing for something that we kind of sort of support, but he's standing up for the national anthem, are you okay with it?
No, see, because...
I'm asking you a question. Are you okay
Yes,
with
I'm okay with it, but let me explain why.
All right.
So the thing with the anthem is that, first of all, that was taking away from the issue. The thing is that if he had even said Black Lives Matter, I would have still had a problem with it, but less of a problem because at least that's addressing the issue, because all lives matter
is a deflection.
Yes, is a deflection and a deferential tactic in which you are trying to defer from the main issue in order to promote a cause that is already, I mean, that's a given. That goes without saying. All lives do matter, but we're saying that lives that are at risk right now, and it's been happening for a sustained period of time, we are just addressing that. We are saying Black Lives Matter as well, not that they only matter. So even, I mean, it is a deferential and, like you said, a deflection. But then with this Colin Kaepernick issue with the anthem, he's not doing, I mean, he's sitting, he's not disrupting the anthem, he's not yelling, stop it, cut. He's not doing that. He's just sitting, he's just waiting till it's over, he's going to play.
Right. But he's still, see, my whole thing is, he's still disrespecting the anthem. Like, I understand what he's doing.
Don't think
like,
so.
The whole thing is, I understand what he's doing. I understand the motive. I understand the motivation. I understand the issues. And I agree with all of the issues and motivations. I just don't agree that this is the best way to go about it.
Well,
I don't
really,
like the anthem. I don't like people disrespecting the anthem. You go to school. You go to school, and what's the when you hear the national anthem and you're late? What's the first thing they do?
The teacher will stop you.
You stop you, and the second you move, there's detention, right?
Yeah.
So my whole thing is
they'll reprimand you, but.
Right. So my whole thing is that it's still disrespectful, and if you want to change your country, I say this all the time to people. If you want to change your country, you have if it's a country you love, you respect it first. By peaceful freedom of assembly, by all these legal ways you can go out and show your displeasure with the way things are ran. But when you do not stand for your national anthem, you're disrespecting your country. You're disrespecting the country that you profit from, right? I get it that the whole military argument is my argument here. The whole the argument for me is that there have been lots of people who like to call America home. And let's use Canada as an example. There's a lot of people who like to call Canada home. There's a lot of people who like to call Canada theirs. They like to say I'm Canadian when it's convenient for them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Right? We like me and my brother, you listen to the show, we tore Andrew Wiggins and all the people who didn't go to the Philippines to represent Canada in the last chance games for FIBA because our reasoning was that you like to be Canadian when you're making shoes with the Canadian leaf on it. You like to be Canadian when you're on TSN talking with Leo and Jack. You like to be Canadian when Cabral Richards is giving you the cabbie on the street stuff, but you're not Canadian when it's not convenient for you. And for me, this is another example of that. You're not, for Colin Kaepernick, he's not being American when it's not convenient for him.
No, because, I mean, see, I think that's a problematic argument because, I mean, just a side note, but the NBA just released 2K Sports released the NBA 2K17 promo trailers last week. And there was one, I'm not sure if you saw the Team USA one, where it's like the 1992 Dream Team versus this 2016 one, and it was playing the anthem, and it was slow motion movements of all the players. And
the national anthem was slowed down.
Yeah, it was slowed down. And to me, it was just, I mean, like, anytime I hear the anthem now, because I can see exactly where Colin Kaepernick is coming from. The U.S., I mean, this is a country that, we talk about the Star Spangled Banner and this great country. What Americans that are defending this anthem and this country don't realize is that the person who wrote this anthem was a slave owner who was a racist. They don't realize that the person who wrote this anthem, and he lived when the Declaration of Independence was signed on July 4th, 1776 in Philadelphia. He lived through that and still maintained, I mean, obviously he didn't live to see the abolition of slavery in 1865. I mean, that's, I guess, 89 years later. But he lived through basically the Civil War and the inception of the U.S.
But like, my whole thing is, what does that have to do with Colin Kaepernick sitting down?
No, I'm just saying that the whole act that you're defending has a racist origin, a racist motivation. And what we see what is happening in this so-called America. Literally, black people had to fight for the right to be human beings. They had to fight to prove they were 3/5 of a human being in the law. People don't realize this. This same U.S. that they're defending, they were 60% human. They were classified as 60% human beings.
But like, okay,
and
but
when
my
you see
thing
what
is
happening now, this is just reinforcing the place where all of this came from.
But my whole thing is, like, why didn't he take the time to speak out? Like, the ESPYs with Dwayne Wade and LeBron.
I mean, that was an NBA. I mean, I don't know.
Obviously, the opportunity wasn't there for Kaepernick, but I'm just saying that's a proper way to go about things. You say your piece.
Well, he still
during
did
the peaceful
talk.
assembly.
He talked and he gave a nice, very good speech in the locker room.
No, I get it. Like, that's the whole thing. I understand the motivation. I actually support the issue, and I understand it. You get what I'm saying? But I just don't like using the anthem as a way to make your point. I don't like it for anything. Well, and I didn't like it when the tenors used it for their advantage for the Canadian anthem, and I don't like it for,
like I said,
the American anthem.
Coming from a different place. Deferential tactic, silent protest. Those are two different issues. Deferential tactics are things that are used by people who most likely know they're wrong. They know they are the one who is probably the outlier in the scenario, but then they're trying to find a way to mask their wrongdoing and make it about something that doesn't relate remotely to what is the main issue at hand. That is what happened in that instance. Deferential tactic, silent protest, two different ballparks.
But is it really silent when you know what you're getting when you don't stand for a national?
Well, I mean, you know what you're getting.
It's still disrespect.
You know you're going to get
disrespect.
No,
it's disrespect.
You're going to. I mean, yes, it's not the ideal thing, but I mean, we can't have it both ways. When people really want to protest, no one was disrespecting in the anthem when people were protesting in Ferguson, but they still brought the National Guard and they still brought police with military firearms. They still did that. Nobody was disrespecting the anthem then. You can't have your cake and eat it too in every scenario. People are, I mean, when it's not this, somebody else does something else, we have a problem. Somebody else says something, oh, I didn't like that there was a period here, a comma here, the way you paused here, we have a problem. We cannot continue to always want things to be tailored. Like this guy, Colin Kaepernick, said it yesterday on The Herd. I mean, I don't have to agree with everybody. I can agree with your idea to protest, but I don't necessarily have to agree with what you're saying. But I move on, I live my life. It's not gonna ruin my day because of that. So people have to learn that it's not, I mean, people are gonna have differences.
Yeah, listen, I didn't say it was gonna ruin my day. I didn't say
I'm saying at large. Because a lot of people you've seen online. They're everybody's made this like a G8 or G20 conference. This whole issue, like, it's not that serious.
No, it's just, for me, it's just, I feel like it's disrespectful. I agree with the motives and the motivations. I just don't like the output, right? And I feel like there's other ways to do it without disrespecting, like without intentionally trying to disrespect your country. And so if you want, I just feel like if you want to make your country better, respect it first. We have all kinds of movements that we get invited to and sometimes we attend, but because they're respectful manners and they're great things, right? The whole thing is, at what point is it intentionally disrespecting your country that you profit from, and at what point is it trying to make your country better for your fellow man, right?
No,
there's the line. There's the line.
But I mean, we can't continue to worship and deify an anthem that's not living up to the ideals in which it's supposed to. And we really need to examine this country. Oh, the Star Spangled Banner. I mean, I've just told you what place the anthem came from. And I've told you that same motivation for that country I mean, yes, people can sing about being free and glorious, but free and glorious is a relative term. Some people's glory might be other people being subjugated. Some people's glory might be everybody having equality. There's differences.
But if you play
everything
the theory
is a relative term.
But like if you play the theory of relativity argument, and I'm not gonna lie, I have before. That's when you start running into problems of, well, how are you going to fix it for everybody to have as much as possible, right? That's the problem with it. Like,
right here, that's not the issue though, because this right here, we're speaking to a specific group of people, and yes, because that issue, a lot of times everyone says everybody, but the reality is the vast majority of people are not having this widespread issue. Yes, of course, I mean, I'd be a fool to say a white person hasn't been killed by a white person, but it's not a systemic issue that is forcing them to be extinct. Black people still make up 66% of the U.S. I've looked at the numbers. Hispanic people, I think right now they're.
But like, okay, let's go back to the end. Let's go back to Colin Kaepernick's.
No, but I'm just
saying, like, you now you're deviating away from what the main topic is.
I'm saying,
is he right?
I'm speaking to the point you just brought up about everybody.
Is he right for the national anthem? Is he right for singing in the national anthem?
Extinction, huh?
But like, is he right for sitting?
Yes, I think. To me, it's not an issue of whether he's right or wrong. It's just, it's not horrible. It's not bad.
One last point before we move on to the next topic. All right. Your last point. What's your last thought on this whole Colin Kaepernick?
No, it's not wrong. It's not right. It's just what it is. It's not bad. I don't have a problem with it at all. I support it to a degree.
I agree with it, but if you ask me in a corner, would I do it? I think it's disrespectful.
Yes, that's the thing. It's whether you would do it. Maybe it's different, but it's not wrong.
Yeah, I think it's wrong because I think it's wrong.
It's not wrong.
But I think the output is wrong. But I agree with the motivation. Does that make sense?
Justifies the means. I mean, the means was to sit, and the end was that people are being brought aware. This is awareness, bringing awareness, because I mean, other NFL players like Cam Newton, Richard Sherman, they've been kind of embracing this all lives matter, racism is over kind of mantras that are completely false. I mean, yes, all lives matter, but that's not the issue. The issue is not all lives matter. We are focusing on those right now who are being the most effective, especially when it's already a population of people who are the lowest minority, 13%. The black community is supposed to only, in the next few years, is only supposed to elevate to maybe 1 or 2%, while Hispanic is supposed to go from 17% to almost 30%. That's double. So they're on the verge of extinction. That's all I'm trying to say.
It's 13%, but it's 13% higher. But no,
I'm saying
I get it.
Almost double.
You have to go about like 4 or 5% higher.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's double. Relative. I mean, relative. It's more towards double than not, is what I mean.
Okay.